Welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you guys with me for this special pick a card where I am going to be looking into what makes you sexy. But I'm not just going to stop there. I'm going to keep going and figure out how your sexy and sensual energy is manifesting something for you for the future. And I also want to find out how people are reacting to this sensual energy that you're exuding. And if this is your first time joining me, welcome. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer, and I deliver messages through the cards that help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So I have 3 piles for you guys to select from, and I want to let you know that this is a very special collaboration with Temu. I'm sure you've heard of them before. It's an amazing site. You definitely need to check it out. Download the app because all of the products on their site are practically 90% off. They have free shipping. They have free returns up to 90 days. And I was completely blown away by everything that I received. So most of the decks that I'm using in today's reading came from Temu, as well as all of these adorable little carved crystal animals that have partnered with each deck. So in pile number 1, we have this adorable rose quartz cat, as well as a rose quartz tumbled stone that also came from Temu, and this white candle wrapped with the natural cord. Pile number 2 has the green aventurine owl from Temu, as well as the green aventurine tumbled stone, as well as dried lavender. And then pile number 3 has this labradorite howling wolf, which I just absolutely love. It has the most beautiful rainbow flash to it. And then the clear quartz tumbled stone. Both of these came from Temu. And this feather that I found on a walk with my dogs. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to see the cards and the items up close. You're going to see that in just a moment. And once you've selected your pile, I will see you at your reading. Hi, pile number 1, welcome back. So in today's reading, I am looking at what makes you sexy, and I am taking it a step further, and I'm going to be revealing to you how your sexy and sensual energy is helping you to manifest for the future, because of course everything starts on the energetic. So all of your sexy and sensual energy is opening up doorways of opportunity to you, but you might not even be aware that they're there. So that's where I come in. I'm going to point those out to you. And of course, I'm also going to be revealing to you how other people react to your sexy and sensual energy. And you guys selected the pile that has the white candle with the cord bow around it, as well as the tumbled rose quartz crystal and the carved rose quartz cat. And in case you missed the intro, many of the decks, as well as the crystals that I partnered with each pile, all came from Temu. If you've never heard of this site before, I highly recommend that you go and check it out. The links are below. They are an e-commerce site that has practically anything that you could possibly desire. I got an assortment of different oracle decks and tarot decks, as well as the crystals, and I was completely blown away by everything that I received. I don't endorse anything that I don't believe in, and I was floored by the quality, and the experience with Temu was just so effortless. They were just so accommodating, so easy to navigate the site, and everything came really, really fast, and they do have free shipping. So you can check everything out in the description box below, like I said. So let's get into your cards as well as your items, because really the things that were partnered with this pile are telling me a lot about your sexy and sensual energy. To start off with, you are a very loving person. Rose quartz is a crystal that's connected to the heart chakra. And not only are you a person that really knows how to give love, and you probably have a lot of love to give, but you know how to give love to yourself, because the cat is an animal that really has a sense of independence. They have boundaries. They are not going to be looking for external validation. They know how amazing they are, and they carry themselves with a lot of class. They carry themselves with a lot of dignity and confidence. And you exude that. You might not feel that way every day, but that is generally your energy when it comes to sensuality and sexiness. People see you as being very physical as well. There's like this sense that your body is drawing people in, like people can't stop watching you. You might be a dancer, or there might be something about like your physical form that's connected to your sensuality. So physical touch might be one of your love languages. Having a real strong physical connection with another person might be like high on your priority list when it comes to like partnering and love matches. But I don't think that you need others to tell you that you are attractive. That's like, I feel like you already know that. Like, you have this boss energy about you, which I can see why people are drawn to you. There's this sense that, you know, you have to be won over, like you're a prize. Because I think that you're ready to cut ties with anything that doesn't work for you, that doesn't serve you. And you do it in a really classy way. So the white candle is a symbol of peace, tranquility, but with the cord around it, it is connected to cutting ties. But with all of the energy that's coming forward, I just think that you have a way of doing it so that you maintain not only your own dignity, but the dignity of the other person. So there might be some people that lost your affection. Maybe the relationship ended. Maybe it never got off of the ground. But they have really good feelings about you. It was like you were out of their league, and they don't really take offense to it. I'm not saying that there's no one in your past that's holding a grudge. We will get into those cards and find out in a moment how others feel about you. But generally, I think that people have really good opinion about you, even though they see you as like this siren. There's this energy of a siren coming forward. They see you as really sensual, really sexy, but it's not like they look down on you for that. Like, you still have this boss energy. You're probably very successful as well, is the sense that I get. Like, there is this feeling that you are going to try and make hard decisions or take a risk so that you can be led to your highest potential. And that kind of confidence and that kind of dedication to self and your own journey is so sexy. Okay, so I'm going to set these items aside and let's get into your cards. So to start off with, when I was picking all of the cards for each pile, this particular card is from a love deck, and my intention was that this would give me an overall energy of your sex appeal. So let's see what you got. You got Hugh Hefner. Wow, iconic sex appeal. So the sense that I get is that you are like the epitome of sensuality and sexuality. And I say that because Hugh Hefner started Playboy. So there is something about you that has to do with classiness when it comes to sex, because that particular magazine was so linked with like a higher caliber of pornography, basically. But that it was for a gentleman, you know, like there's this sense of like it being on another level, that there was definitely like the primary focus of the magazine was all about sex and sensuality, but there was this sort of fantasy connection to it, and it involved like the whole lifestyle. It wasn't just about like the actual act of love. It was about every moment of your life building up to this sensuality, because the entire magazine was not just about like pictures of naked ladies. It was also about what kind of booze are you drinking? What does your car look like? What kind of clothing are you wearing? Who are you reading? Like it was a men's magazine. It was like GQ, but it had naked ladies in it as well. So there's this sense that you've got all of this sensuality that really turns people on. Like, you know how to get somebody off, if you will, but it's more than that. It's the whole freaking fantasy. And part of that is the fact that you really know how to highlight what is sexy in another person. You see the beauty in them, things that they probably feel even maybe a little bit iffy about, or like they don't even see it as something sexy, because that was the other thing about, you know, Hugh Hefner and like the girls that he selected for the magazine. They had to be sort of like a wholesome, and there were certain things about them that like maybe they didn't necessarily see as sensual, right? Like, he sort of made careers for people. So like you might actually be opening people up to their own sexual awakening as well. Like, you know, like things that maybe they felt like they couldn't explore, they couldn't experiment with, and like you were like, no taboos. No taboos is the sense that I get. Wow. So that is automatically full on sex appeal, and I can see why people are drawn to you. Let's see what else you got. Whoa, you got the Bachelorette. So this is card number 3. Wow. All right. So this particular card is Empress energy. Like, wow. Yeah, you definitely have everything that people are looking for and more. This is where this energy of people understanding that you're out of their league and not feeling bitter or angry if there's an estrangement, because they always felt like you were too good to be true in a way, but also that they would only have you for a short amount of time because you were out of their league. You know, that's the basics of it. And not that it was that you are only looking for, you know, the stereotype of what is sexy or sensual. Like you're looking for that 1% of the population to partner with. It's not that at all. It's that you know your own worth. So they understood that they're in competition with all of the peace and the joy and the abundance that you can create for yourself. You know, and in a way that's even more intimidating, right? Because like you are, the sense that I get is you're the creator of worlds. I know, I am aware that the messages that come through to me always seem so grand and over the top, but it's like, maybe that is, you know, the energy that you already hold within you. Or if this is something that you haven't fully clicked into yet, that is going to be the gateway for you so that you can start opening up those doors of abundance for yourself, because literally you're the creator of worlds. And what I mean by that in terms of your sensuality and your sexual energy is the fact that you can create that full fantasy for people. You can help them to like live out their dreams. You can help them to live out their fantasies, that you create something that never existed before. So you might also be a trailblazer. You might be like the first to do something. And it's definitely connected with sex appeal. If there are people out there that are watching this in pile number 1 and you want to be famous, you want to be a celebrity, you want to be an influencer, you can do that 100%. But you have to understand that that is a destined path. And destiny is all about choices. Fate is the things that are going to happen no matter what. I know I keep bringing this up in every reading, but every single time I do one of these readings, it's like people get confused about it. And I see this mistake in other people's readings all the time. Like the definition isn't defined there. And I want you to know that there is a difference between those two things. So your destiny is your highest vibrational path. You are the Empress. You might not know that. Some of you definitely do. you can capitalize on that. You can create businesses. You can create a whole persona around your image and create an entire brand. And that might be connected to sex and sensuality, though. That's like strongly coming forward. Like you just had this appeal. And there's also this sense of like magic. Like you're able to just make things happen that then like you can open up doors, because cats, of course, are also connected to the other realms. Like they were, there's a reason why like mystical witchy women are often depicted with a cat familiar, because they can see beyond the veil. Like cats are connected with being able to see to other realms, other worlds. So you have that ability as well. Next, you got Isis, rebirth. My God, who are you? Pile number 1. So it's card number 25. That would reduce down to the number 7, which is all about alignment and the chakras, those 7 primary chakras. Each give us a different power because they vibrate at a different level. And with each of those vibratory levels, you are opening yourself up to a different skill. Right? So Isis is powerful because she is the mother goddess. So we've got this Empress energy repeated again. But she also went and rescued her husband. She went into the underworld to rescue him. So there is this sense of you being able to put the pieces of the puzzle back together for others that feel maybe fragmented, which is what comes forward with Osiris, right? The story of Osiris. You might want to look that up. You might feel very connected with Isis. You have not only been able to help others be reborn, you have reinvented yourself. And this is where the celebrity energy comes back in again, right? Like you being an influencer, because influencers are constantly reinventing themselves. Influencers, celebrities, they have to stay on top of what is hot, but also be looking forward to the future, right? You have to be an innovator and like constantly reinventing self. So that is extremely powerful as well. You also got the caution card. Interesting. Mercury and Virgo, card number 6. And so with 6 and 7, there's this progression here that I'm seeing. So caution, it's talking about your boundaries. Like, and there's a queen literally on this card. There might have been a time when you didn't know how sexy you were and how powerful your sensual energy is. And so you might have been falling prey to people because there are like these wolves that are attacking all of these antelope on this card. And there is a rabbit in the mix, which I'm seeing for the first time now. So what I'm getting from this is, in the past, you might have been victimized or you were taken for granted by certain people. They thought that they were the shit and they, just didn't really prioritize you or see your light. They didn't see your power. They didn't see like that you were worth investing in. But you started to see that within yourself through some sort of work. Like Mercury is talking about our communication, and it's connected to also like our thought process, like how we're thinking, right? Because Mercury is connected to Gemini as well as connected to Virgo. Virgo is beauty and Gemini is about duality and like the way that we think and communicate. So there is this sense that you started to reevaluate your own beauty, like maybe your beauty standards or how people reacted to you. Because I do get this sense that you're just naturally attractive. Like you fit some sort of beauty standard, 100%. Like it might not be the one that, the majority of society thinks of as beautiful, but there is something that people just immediately gravitate towards you because of this physical thing about you. And I think that for you, it's been a blessing and a curse because there might be people that fetishize you. But you started to get wise to that and you're like, wait a minute, they're right. I am like a freaking goddess. I don't need to be like putting myself last, and I don't have to prove to someone that I'm worthy. Like, I know I'm worthy. Not only do I have this thing physically about myself that just is like a 10, but I also have all of this other stuff behind that, under the surface, that makes me a 10, right? Like the way that you think about things, and the way like you can cultivate sensuality and beauty in others. Like you are really able to like share that with others. And that's where it's like, I really think you can capitalize on this. Like if you are not already running your own business or on social media or doing something with this, you definitely need to. Like you guys could be matchmakers. You guys could be, have your own fashion line. You could be like doing makeup tutorials. You could literally be sex and sensuality coach. Like there's lots of different ways that you could use this, but there is something about your natural charisma where people are just going to gravitate towards you. Next, you got leadership. Take charge of the situation. You are probably pretty dominant in the bedroom. You probably know, like I was saying before, you know how to like ignite the passion and desire in somebody. Like we've got basically Joan of Arc on this card, surrounded by cherubs. So Joan of Arc was someone who definitely walked to the beat of her own drum. She was divinely inspired to, lead an army at a time when women were not listened to, like that when she was burned at the stake as a witch, like there were lots of barriers blocking her, or potential barriers blocking her from being able to step into her own leadership energy, and she did it anyways. So there is something that maybe you've already been divinely inspired to do, because her famous line is, "I was born to do this." So you can't be afraid. You have to just go forward, and you have to take a leap of faith, because there is this energy about you that you have to go first. You're the trailblazer. You are the one that is like bringing forward the trends or opening up a dialogue or a conversation. There's this sense of like Dan Savage, like talking about the taboo things that no one else wants to talk about. You've got to go there. You definitely do this with people that you're intimate with, but you need to take it to the next level. Some of you guys need to have podcasts. You need to like literally be out there pulling on people's heartstrings, like bringing them into their own sensuality, right? With the cherubs, with Cupid. Like there's something about like you being along for the ride as people are discovering their own sensuality, because of course Cupid was constantly with Venus, right? Like the goddess of love. Like they were a team, they were hung out, they were tight, right? So there's something about you being along for the ride as other people are experiencing their own sensuality. So maybe you're going to write a book. Maybe you're supposed to help inspire people because you're meant to have a lot of different love affairs as well, right? Like you have to have a lot of girlfriends, multiple girlfriends at the same time. So I'm not saying that's for everyone, but some of you might want to have a very unconventional love life, and that is totally okay. Next, you receive new supportive connections. People, card number 8. Next year is year 8. So if you're seeing this when I release this, 2024 is year 8. So that might be really powerful for you, but it could also be the 8th month, August, and Virgo did come out, and Virgo does start in August and then goes through to September. So just keep that in mind. But oh man, and yeah, the progression, my guides are reminding me, 6, 7, now we've got 8. So this is something that you're building up to. This is something that you might have even had a sensual mentor. There might have been somebody that helped you to discover things about yourself. There's these new supportive connections though that you're going to come into connection with. There's this sense that you are going to potentially partner with people creatively as well. And this might not have anything to do with sensuality, but it could. Like, it could be like if you're going to have like your own, you know, social media presence. Maybe you're working with photographers, or you're working with a PR manager, or you're working with, like, I don't know, web developers or other creatives, and you're going to do a collaboration. There's something there. Like, it feels like kings and queens coming together, making amazing work or art, or delivering a message that has to do with beauty, sensuality, and you're putting the pieces together where people have felt like lost, or their sense of sensuality has been distorted in some way. This feels like life purpose stuff, which would be, you know, on brand for me. A lot of my messages have to do with life purpose stuff. So there's just this sense that if this isn't resonating with you yet, that like something incredible is going to happen for you. Like a fire is going to be lit. Like maybe your candle hasn't been lit yet, but there's this sense that something is going to happen. Like there's this fiery energy coming from Isis. There's a fiery energy coming from Joan of Arc. Like there is something about satisfying yourself, but it's also something about sacrifice. Maybe you're giving up the conventional so that you can satisfy self. The orator, communication and confidence, and you've got Mercury, you're supposed to be speaking about this. If you have like fetishes or kinks that you don't share with the average person, like maybe you're supposed to be. Like, this is baby steps. You don't have to like jump into the deep end yet, but like going back to Hugh Hefner, this is the primary sensual energy that you have. So this is what you're meant to be stepping into. Something to do with leadership when it comes to sensuality, communicating, and giving people the green light to be able to explore those things. You got the gavel, involvement with the law. Yes! You are like the judge and jury of, you know, like you're giving people the ability to set themselves free, and you are saying like, no, the judgments of the past don't have to be the judgments of the future. Like we can rewrite the laws. Maybe this has literally to do with laws. Like there's lots of places around the world where, you know, there are lots of limitations on how people can sensually express themselves, or even connected to beauty. You know, it might not have anything to do with what's going behind closed doors, or, you know, in people's bedrooms. It could just be around like the perceptions of sensuality, you know, like where there are certain places where you can't wear certain clothing, or you can't love who you love, you know, like openly, publicly. And you're going to be liberating people from that. But it definitely starts with self first, right? Going back to the rose quartz, you have to love self first. If you can love self first and give yourself that green light, then you're going to step into the leadership role. Like, look, the leader, like it's green and behind, and the heart chakra is green. It's green. So, wow, like you got the Fool. Yeah, you are the one that has to go first. And it can be lonely being the first. It can be lonely being the one that's like saying, I don't have anything concrete to show you that's telling me that this is the direction I need to go in. Going back to Joan of Arc, you know, like there's just this sense, this sixth sense that you have that this is where you're supposed to go. This is where you're supposed to go, and what you're supposed to communicate. And you might only have your pets, you know, with you for the journey, you know, like this might be something like where there's a message, and it's like, you might have to walk alone for a little bit of it. It's this like, sort of a pilgrimage is the sense that I get. And of course the dog might literally be a reference to pets, right? We've got a dog on this card as well. And then the rabbit, which is a symbol of abundance and prosperity that's coming forward, but also could be a pet. And then we've got the cat. There's definitely like domestic pets that are coming forward here. But the dog is also a symbol of friendship and loyalty. So you might only have a small circle of people that see your light, see how powerful you could be, and encourage you. Other people see your light. If you've had people that have tried to like silence you or, stifle your sensuality, they've been telling you that, what you're into is weird, or like there's something that they don't like about you, that's because they see your light and they're threatened by it. They don't want you to succeed because it might, make them feel self-conscious or feel like they missed out on an opportunity to express themselves, or you might change things and they like it exactly the way it is. Next, you got the Six of Wands, victory. Victory is in your future. You're meant to be on a public stage talking about this stuff. 100%. And like, this might be a situation where like you aren't, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be literally on the stage. It could be you contributing to an organization for like better sex education, like better health regulations. There could be a cause that you're connected to, but you're definitely going to be victorious and in the eyes of others seen as victorious. Like, there is this strong warrior energy, without a doubt. Like, I would be shocked if you guys didn't step into more of a public role where you're helping people to like step into their own sensuality and sexiness. Okay, so now let's move on and talk a little bit about what you're manifesting for the future. Now, that's already started to come forward, but let's get a little more insight into what you're manifesting and what these doorways are. You got, this is from a numerology deck. I love this deck. I got it from Temu. So it's 1313. Wow, that is powerful because the number 13 in some cultures is extremely lucky, and in other cultures it is a symbol of bad luck, right? Like Friday the 13th being a negative like date on the calendar. But the number 13 reduces down to the number 4, which is all about stability and solid foundations. And this card says starting fresh, encouragement, goals, foundations, creative ventures, communication. Step out of your comfort zone. You are about to create something meaningful. I'm going to start crying. I'm so proud of you. All your skills and talents will bring you auspicious profits. Build up your confidence and trust in your decisions. This is literally talking about how there is going to be miracles and blessings. That's what the auspicious is talking about. Miracles and blessings that you don't even see coming that are going to be gifted to you by the universe, because this is literally what you're meant to do. It's talking about this energy of the Fool. All you have to do is take a leap of faith, though. And that is the scariest thing. It really is. I understand that. I've had to do it in my own life where I'm like, I know what I'm meant to do, and I have to just cut away anything that isn't in alignment with that, because if I don't, I will miss out on that opportunity because it's destined to me, not fated to me, and I have to choose it and pursue it. That's what is going on here. If you don't liberate yourself, cutting away the things that are holding you back from really expressing yourself or stepping into your sensuality the way that it is authentic to you, you will miss out on that opportunity. And at the end of your life, you will look back and you will think, why did I limit myself that way? And by talking about your goals or your journey or your creative ideas, you are encouraging other people to do the same thing. And that's where the foundation is laid, right? Like, there will be people that don't believe in you and that push back against you, that they don't understand where you're coming from. But there are going to be so many people that do get it. And it takes work in the beginning. Like, there will be lots of times when you're like, why am I even doing this? Like, no one's watching. No one is like responding. But that's because you're laying the foundation, and there are going to be things that you're going to need to eliminate. And you don't need to have that extra pressure of the entire world watching you as you're figuring out what your message is. Like, be gentle on yourself. Figure it out with the small audience that's already supporting you, whether that might just be your own partner. But start there and then slowly venture out from that. Wow, that is really powerful. Okay, so now I want to get an idea of like when the timing of this like big breakthrough is. Like, we clearly are seeing that you're meant to step into a certain role, that it definitely has something to do with your sensuality and your sexuality and your beauty and how you see your own beauty, and you're going to lead people to find it within themselves, and you're going to help them to liberate themselves from like those outdated ideas around sex and sensuality. And you're literally going to communicate this in some way. Maybe it's a song, you know, like I don't know how there's a lot of people that watch this, and you're each going to be divinely inspired in a different way, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that divine inspiration. It will come down like a thunderbolt, because this is like Mercury. When Mercury like directly communicates, when you get that insight, it's like bam. It is fully ignited inside your mind. You won't miss it. Like, you won't miss it. Okay, so when is this coming to you? Pile number 1. What can Spirit tell us about the timing of this for you? Okay. First, okay, we've got 3 cards here. Oh my God. Remember I said about the number 8 and how it might be connected to August? You got the August card. So August is significant. So you might be Virgo. You might also be Leo. That would definitely make sense. This might also mean that it's coming about in the summer or the tail end of the summer, when things are in full bloom, when possibly you're in the summer of, you know, your own self-discovery. You also got September. So, I mean, August, September, that really is like Virgo. Like, that's when my birthday is. Maybe this is my pile. I don't know. But the sense is that it's late summer is when this major breakthrough is going to come through to you. And it could be like, depending on when you're watching this might be, you know, relatively soon. It might take a little more time. You did get it's not the right time. So if it's not this September, this August, it could be the following September or August. But you're definitely heading in the right direction. It's just not the right time right now. And I'd like to find out a little bit more about why that is. Like, why isn't it the right time for you guys? Let's see. Okay, you got the 6 of Cups, butterflies. You're still going through a transformation. You haven't fully emerged out of the cocoon yet. So, you know, like, if you're not ready, yes. And you got the 3 of mirrors. So that's the 3 of Swords, and it says red flags. Okay, so you're still figuring it out. Many of you are still figuring it out. There's still snakes is what's coming forward, and then wolves in sheep's clothing. There are people around you that still might be naysayers. The sense that I get is that it's people that like are false friends. Like they like your ideas, and then they might take it. Right? Like, they'll never be able to do it the way that you do it. What's meant for you is always going to find you. But it might be discouraging to you. You pass on an idea, and then, or you share an idea, and they just run with it. And you think, oh my God, that's what I was meant to do. It wasn't. Your guides would never, like, put you in a position like that. It's probably a situation where you're channeled a particular idea that you could take action on, whether someone does it or not. And it's more about giving you an opportunity to see where, you know, the wolves in sheep's clothing are. So if they steal something from you, you know, That's not your community. Those aren't your ride or die. Those are not the dogs, the loyal dogs, the sidekicks I was talking about. The universe wants you to get rid of all of the dead weight, right? Cut all of the cords, do it with class and grace so that you can fully transform, and that's when you step into your true power. Oh my God. So when you do take this step and you fully emerge as the gorgeous butterfly that you are, what are people going to think? What are people going to think of pile number one's sexy and sensual energy? Okay, so first you got hope. I haven't given up on us yet. There's going to be people that are like, oh my God, maybe there's hope for us. Maybe there's a chance. Maybe I can get back together with them. And I get the sense that it's not just ex-lovers, it's friends. It might even be like former bosses or coworkers. This is like a sense that all of the people that didn't think that you could make it, or that you were on the wrong path, or they thought that there was something like just unpalatable about you. Like there's a sense that for some of you, you know, like you might express your sexual energy, your sensual and sexual energy in a way that doesn't make sense to them or is a little taboo. And it's making me think of like Dita Von Teese, right? Like at the time, back in the 90s, like burlesque was not seen as like an art form. It was not something that was fashionable. Like she was part of that movement. It wasn't just her, but she was definitely a figurehead that made it something that was considered high art to the general population, right? Like there is something about you transforming a conversation that has something to do with beauty and sensuality and sexuality. And all of those people that thought you were too out there are going to want a piece of the pie. You aren't going to give them the time of day, is the sense that I get. But that's only because you know who's for you, right? And you're going to lean into that. You also got chemistry. I have never felt a passion this intense. Yeah, you are literally, people might even get a little bit confused about their desire for you versus what you're inspiring inside them. And that has likely been a problem for you for your whole life. Like they confuse like their own like acceptance of self with like really strong passionate feelings for you, and you might have had your heart broken because once again I get this sense like they're fetishizing you, like they are not seeing you as a real person like that has wants, needs, and desires. But that's not always going to be the case. You're going to be stepping out of whatever, you know, box they put you in, and you're stepping into something new. Now, for some of you, you already have supportive partners where you're very exploratory with your sensual energy, and like you don't hold back. They love you, they support you, they're your ride or die, right? Like they're the dog energy that's coming forward here, right? And loyalty. But for others of you that are still single, you're still searching for the right person, or maybe you're not at all searching anymore and you're okay with self, the universe will bring in people that are going to be really great options for you if you decide that you want to have something long-term. Okay, next you got reunion. We will always come back to each other. No, this is their energy. Now, for some of you, I have to say, there might have been a lost love where you were forced apart, like societal pressure or something was going on and like you couldn't be together and you were separated by distance, or, you know, maybe they just the two of you didn't recognize a good thing until it was over. But that happened so that you could go through this whole like evolution, right? And they were evolving as well. So for some of you, you might actually get back together with an ex, but this would be someone who was very healthy in your life, someone that you have positive feelings towards. Now, for others of you, once again, this is just hopes that others are projecting onto you. Like they feel strong connection to you. Therefore, they assume that you must feel the same way, which is not the case. And that's where you learning about these red flags and having healthy boundaries is imperative for you before you step into your success, because if you don't have that in place, you could potentially walk yourself into a really undesirable situation where you have your light stolen, is the sense that I get. So I would like to get one final card for you guys, and this is advice from the universe on what you need to do so that you can really harness this energy and, you know, make the next move that's a benefit to you. So, okay, I'm being told to use this other deck instead. Okay. You received the Four of Flutes, which is the Four of Cups. You have to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your intuition above everything else. Your intuition is going to help you to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. It says reflection. So there are things that you need to look at from the past that I think are going to open up doorways to the future. And it might also have something to do with self-acceptance and healing from wounds and all of that good stuff. But like, there is this energy that you might be distracted maybe by other things that are going on in your life, and your guides are trying to hand you a cup, some sort of offer, some sort of love, some sort of opportunity. And it's like, in this situation, you're Venus, right? Allow Cupid to hand you that cup of love, because it's like you've got angels by your side guiding you towards this role that you're meant to play. This is so powerful. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was mind-blowing. I wasn't expecting the reading to be like this at all, and I'm so glad that I was able to deliver these messages for you. I would love to know your thoughts on the reading. If you feel like sharing, you can comment below. Definitely check out the Temu app. The links are below. Like I said, like practically every deck that I used here, all the Oracle decks were from Temu, and they are like great quality. And if any of you guys are interested in having a personal reading done, I do work with clients. So you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are listed there, and you can always email me if you have any questions. So I am sending you guys so much love. I hope that I see you in the next reading. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And if you enjoyed the reading, giving me a like would be greatly appreciated. Sending you so much sunshine, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Hi, pile number 2, welcome back. So in today's reading, I'm revealing to you what makes you sexy, and I'm taking it a step further, and I'm going to be talking about how your sexy and sensual energy is manifesting something for you in the future. Because of course, everything starts on the energetic, and our sexy and sensual energy is connected to our creative energy as well. So there might be opportunities and doorways that are opening up to you that you're not aware of. So I'm going to be filling you in on that. And of course, I'm also going to be telling you about how other people view your sexy and sensual energy. So you guys selected the lavender, as well as the green aventurine tumbled stone and the green aventurine owl. And in case you missed the intro, this is a special collaboration with Temu, and both of these crystals, as well as many of the decks I'm using in today's reading, came from Temu. I highly recommend you check out the site. You can download the app in the link below, and there's also links to the items that I received from Temu. I have nothing but good things to say about them. It has been amazing. I love everything that I received. So definitely go and check them out. So these items are actually giving me the first messages about your sexy energy. So to start off with, we've got the dried lavender. So lavender is connected to stress relief. It is a very calming, soothing plant. The sense that I get is that you really put people at ease, and you're also really chill and at ease about your own sexy and sensual energy. There is this sense of effortlessness around you where you don't have to like, put yourself in a box. You don't have to try and be sexy. You just are confident and at ease, and authentic is the sense that I get. There is this feeling of maturity around you. So you might actually be older, or this might just be this sense of wisdom and this sense of self-acceptance that you have that is just so sexy and sensual. And that also comes out with the crystals that you selected, because green aventurine is connected to the heart chakra. And this stone is used for cultivating more self-acceptance and love, and eliminating blockages that we might have connected to our own self-love, and that also would impact the love that we can share with others. And this stone is also a stone of abundance. So you're changing the way you feel about yourself. Maybe you already have, maybe that's something that you're working towards, but the key to your abundance and your financial success and your material rewards is linked with how you feel about self. And the owl is connected to wisdom and seeing things from a higher perspective. But this is going to be a little bit of a battle for you, because the owl is also connected to the goddess Artemis, who is the warrior goddess. There is this feeling that you're going to have to go through periods of not feeling good enough, not feeling attractive, not feeling accepted, not feeling like you can express yourself authentically. And there's going to be a breaking point, or maybe there already has, where you just don't care anymore. There's this feeling of like recognizing that maybe the thoughts that you had, or the perceptions of your own sensuality, your sexuality, your own beauty, maybe were skewed a little bit by the pressures of society or the expectations of others, and you are going to decide that you're just not going to hold yourself to that unrealistic standard or punish yourself any longer. There's this just this sense of you know what, I'm just going to be who I really am, because I've tried it the other way and I was miserable and I was never able to reach the expectations, or maybe even a sense that you never could fit into that standard. So why even punish yourself over it any longer? Just let it go. And that is so sexy. So let's get into the cards. So this particular card, this pink one, when I pulled this card, I was asking specifically to get one card that was going to give me a sense of the general energy around your sexy energy. Let's see what you got. You got Lena Dunham. This definitely aligns with what I was getting with the crystals specifically, because when I think about Lena Dunham, I think about, her impact with Girls, the show that she created for HBO, and how polarizing that show was. She was showing herself with, where she wasn't compromising. She was showing her authentic self, warts and all. The characters were fully fleshed out. They were three-dimensional. She was showing women in vulnerable states and in empowered states, and she was showing her natural naked body, which was very controversial because she did not fit into the classic beauty standard of what a naked woman is supposed to look like. She didn't buy into this idea that she has to fit into the traditional male gaze and turn men on. It wasn't about that at all. It was about self-empowerment and liberation. And she was showing women in all different facets of life, where she was showing the vulnerability that you can have with a partner, but also in the workplace and also in friend groups. It had never been done before. There was other shows that talked about female friendship. Obviously, the most obvious comparison is Sex and the City. But Girls was something entirely different. It was taking what Sex and the City had started and like cranking it up to the next level. And I think that it took a lot of courage to be able to do that. There was a lot of bravery, and like she really talked a lot about taboos as well. And you might be talking about taboos, or there might be something connected to taboos. And there's all kinds of different taboos, right? There could be something that's connected to like a particular desire that you have. But I mean, it's taboo for a woman to just like go out of the house dressing for herself and not dressing for like how other people are going to view her. Like that is taboo, which is nuts to me. And you probably just like reject that, or you're getting to a point where you're going to reject that. That is so powerful. And that kind of confidence and that kind of like really true like acceptance of self is so sensual. It's so sexy. And I just get this sense of like mentorship, like that you might be a role model to other people. Like there might be other people that are around you that might ask questions, or like, how do you do it? How do you have this confidence? Maybe it's not something that you would necessarily directly connect to your sexy energy, right? Like sexy energy is connected to the sacral chakra, which is also connected to creativity. So anything that you're birthing into the world is connected to your sexy and sensual energy. So are people asking you questions about like your own beauty secrets, or like how you carry yourself, or your thoughts and ideas around things? Because that's all linked. All right, next you received the Four of Mirrors. Reassuring Rose. The Four of Mirrors is the Four of Swords, which is talking about resting, recuperating, meditating. You definitely put people at ease, and I do think that you give them reassurance to just be authentic, or at least to ask questions. The sense I get is like you're an open book. Like you'll allow people to ask you questions, even if it puts you on the hot seat, even if it's something that makes you feel like a little out of your element or a little uncomfortable. It's like the example that's coming forward is, you know, the parent that is comfortable talking to their kids about sex and sensuality, and they're not like shy and reserved or feeling uncomfortable. Like of course there is a certain level of discomfort that can come along with that, but it's like you're open about it. Like there is something about like you seeing the bigger picture around things. Like letting go of taboos is a big thing. Letting go of taboos and being at ease and allowing someone to like slowly ease into their own authenticity, not feeling like you necessarily need to like sort of shock people. That's what's coming forward. Like you might be doing something that is a little bit unique and different, like the Lena Dunham card. Like there's also this sense of like introducing people to things that maybe they didn't associate with sexuality or sensuality, or things that are sexy or sensual that they're starting to see in a new light. Like there's a lot of different examples that are coming forward, like possibly bringing forward like a dialogue around topics connected to beauty that others like. Maybe it's like allowing yourself to age gracefully and naturally and beautifully and still being a sensual, sexy person, like still talking about that, still dating and being open about your sensuality and your sexuality, even as you get older, which for women is definitely something that's been frowned on. And you're just embracing that. Even if you're not like, you don't identify as being a woman, this might just be like a philosophy of yours. Like you allow other people to step into their own empowerment and beauty. You're not projecting onto them or trying to like force them into a certain standard, is the sense I get. You got the sun. I think that this goddess her name is YHI. So Yai is how I would pronounce it. If I got that incorrect, I apologize. And I would love it if someone could tell me how to pronounce it in the comments below. So this is card number 51, which would reduce down to the number 6. You truly are completely authentic. The sun is all about like how you project out into the world. The sun is connected to Leo. Like you are uncompromising, and like you probably wear clothing that's totally different than other people. You do your hair and makeup in a way that's completely authentic to you. Maybe you're a person who loves makeup and you like do a full beat and you will like go out, and it doesn't matter if you're going to the grocery store, you love it, so you do it. Maybe you're a person who doesn't like wearing makeup at all, and everything that you do is like natural beauty, and you embrace like every wrinkle, every like gray hair. You're embracing all of that. Like whatever is authentic to you, that's what you're stepping into, embracing and showing the world, and you're not hiding from it. And it's completely inspiring people. It's like helping them to see themselves in a different way, and it's so sexy. It's so sexy. You know, I think that for many of you, there might even be this sense that you actually will become a sex symbol when you least expect it. There are some of you with this like sort of Sun Leo energy that literally are destined to be trailblazers, famous, known in some way. And it's like maybe you become a sex symbol and you pose in a magazine when you are like, you know, in your 60s or in your 70s. Like there is this sense of like timeless beauty. And then there's another sense of like being the epitome of sexiness and sensuality when you're part of a group that's marginalized, is the sense that I'm getting. Let me see what the next card is. Apprentice of water. So this is the Page of Cups. Yeah. And there you are like starting to talk about things that others don't necessarily want to talk about, or they don't even think about, right? There's the moon behind this figure. Like there's things that are in the shadows that you're bringing into the light, because there's a strong contrast. But like it was shadow energy for you when you were younger, or when you were less like mature, like you hadn't matured into who you actually are, not in a sense of like you being like an immature person. You hadn't fully matured into who you naturally are, your authentic self. And now you are, or you will. The sense that I get is for some of you, you might be part of a group that society at large doesn't even like to think about being sexy or sensual. It's like maybe you're older, or maybe you have like a disability. Like there's like a need for people that are in marginalized groups to start talking about their beauty and their sensuality in a way that's like an open dialogue, so everyone is exposed to that, even if it makes people uncomfortable. An example of this could be what's coming forward is somebody like who has a physical disability talking about their sex life and how they are intimate with their partner. Or maybe you create a line of products, like, or you know, like this is one example, lingerie for people who are in wheelchairs, and there has to be like certain closures and certain like there's an accessibility thing there as well, and you're part of that community, and you're designing those products for those people so they can like step into more of their sensuality and their sexuality, and that is something that is taboo, and that is something that hasn't been done. And you're the trailblazer, and you're doing it, and you are the person that is like leading the charge, is the sense I get. But you're doing it in a really chill, calm way, and you're doing it in a way that's so empowered. Like those that get it, those that don't. You don't worry about those people, and you keep creating the art for the people that do get it, or you create the product for the people that do get it, who need it. Like you're not compromising, and you're not afraid, is the sense that I get. Maybe you are right now. I might be freaking you out, but you are gonna get there. If this is like not like really clicking with you yet, give it a little bit of time. There's a lot of people that watch, but like you are part of a group of people that are really like standing on their own. And I don't mean it in isolation. I mean like they're a cut above, they're different, they're unique, they're not like everything else we've seen before when it comes to sexy and sensual energy. Purse, pay attention to your finances. Whatever your connection is with your own sense of sexiness and sensuality, it's going to bring you money. It's going to bring you literal dollars. Pay attention to your money. Start thinking about how you could potentially use your own empowerment as a way of monetizing. So maybe you're an influencer. Maybe you are part of a group of people that, you know, need a voice and you're going to talk for them, or you're creating products for them, like I was saying before. Or you're going to invest in somebody else's products. Like maybe you're not the person that's designing the lingerie for people that have disabilities or have specific needs, right? You're investing in someone else's product that's doing that, right? Like there is something about directly related to the more you are stepping into your natural energy when it comes to your idea about sensuality and sexuality, the more money comes to you. The gambler, loss, risk. You have to take a risk on this. Now, this is a theme that's been coming through like all of my readings lately. Like Spirit's been really pushing me to talk about this. The idea of fate versus destiny, right? Like a lot of times people get confused about fate versus destiny. Fate are the things that are going to happen to you no matter what. You could like literally sit on your couch doing nothing and a fated event is going to happen to you no matter what, right? Like the event will find you. But destiny requires your action. Destiny is your highest vibrational path, and you can have that if you take action on it. And this is one of those situations. You can have massive success. You can use your own sexy, sensual, creative energy to create this thing that will bring you all of this abundance. But you have to take a risk. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. Maybe it's financial risk, like you have to like invest in the business. But the risk, I think, is coming from the fact that you're just going to be talking about your experience, or you're going to be sharing this with others. And that in itself is a risk. For some of you, you might have a message to share the average person wouldn't know about just from looking at you, right? Like it might be a situation where you have some personal private struggle that is connected with your sensuality and your sexuality and your idea of beauty. And the only way you could be a voice for this cause is to like come out of the darkness and share that with people. And that's part of your destiny. It will bring you great abundance, great fulfillment, great respect, but you have to be willing to take that risk. Healer. You received the healer card. You're going to be healing yourself and others. It says you have the spiritual gift of healing and is a desire to share it with others. So your healing energy in itself, I think, is very sexy. It's this like mothering, nurturing, comforting energy that comes forward with the lavender as well as the owl, where like your wisdom, like you might be able to teach people a thing or two in the bedroom, and they really like that. I do get the sense that you can like really take charge as well, but not in an aggressive way. It's more of like a gentle mentor teacher when it comes to things that are going on in the bedroom. But it could also be you healing people through your own self-expression, your own story, and you're helping them to heal their own wounds around beauty. Like, if there is something that you've been wanting to create, I highly encourage you to do this. Like, it might have something to do with what I was saying before, too, about, like, there being some sort of private struggle that you have that will be healed the more you talk about it. You got the Fortune card. Card number 5, Leo is on this card, and the Sun. You got the Sun twice. You have the ability to be such a huge success linked with this creative, sensual energy. You have no idea. Like, if you haven't already started to take action on this goal, this plan, this inspired idea, like, you will if you are willing to take a risk, and it will change your entire life. But it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. There is the number 5. You have to like fight the self-doubt and the shadow energy that's around you, like, because there will be people that are like, how could you say that? How could you talk about that? How could you like not care? Like, an example of this might be, you know, this won't relate to everyone, but it's the example that's coming forward. A woman who is married to a man her entire life. You know, she's young, beautiful, she meets a man, they get married, they have children. She is there by his side until finally there is some sort of health problem or a health crisis, and she's older, he doesn't see her the same way any longer, divorces her, runs off to someone younger, and living out his fantasy. And he thinks at that point that she's done for. His now ex-wife is done for. And that's when she really blossoms and becomes this huge sex symbol and starts her own business and, has a social media platform. Like, there are many women that are doing that on TikTok right now. And maybe you're one of them, or maybe you're meant to be one of them, like maybe that's not your exact story. That's just an example. But there's this sense of like at your darkest times when everyone else thought like you were done for, you were no longer sexy, you were no longer sensual, you were like whatever it was that they had judged you for, that was the moment that you really showed your sexy sensual energy, where it evolved to something completely different that they weren't expecting at all. You got the Page of Swords. There is definitely something coming forward here about you having a brand new creative idea, because the Page of Cups is talking about ideas coming from spirit and that new inspired way of thinking and sharing that insight, the things that are unseen. And then the Page of Swords is a brand new way of expressing things. It's the way that you share it. So it could be connected to the internet. Like, you might, have your own spicy, website, and you're older, and that's like massively taboo. Or like I said, there's something else going on with you that's unique and different and that people have not necessarily wanted to talk about in terms of sexy, sensual, and beauty. And you're like, I'm doing it. There's strong energy of massive fame, being world renowned, and the internet, and they're taking a risk. There's a gamble here that has to happen. But that in itself is also what is so sexy and sensual about you. Then you've got optimism, card number 1, consciousness. You are allowing yourself to be optimistic about the future. And I do get the sense that you've probably always had a really positive outlook with all this sun energy. Like, you're a naturally positive, happy person. And that's another thing that people find really sexy and sensual about you. You might also have like beautiful hair. There definitely feels to me like for some of you, you're part of a group where like you might have fit into the beauty standard at some point, and then that might have been taken away from you, and then you're like you're healing that wound. Like, it's making me think of Marilyn Monroe. Like, at the end of her life, she started to really like ask questions about what was to come for her, because she had been this sex symbol, and she knew that there was like a shelf life if that was her identity. Her public persona was like being this sex symbol. Like, how long do you ride that? And there might have been questions like that for you as well. For some of you, again, just one example, it's not going to resonate for all of you, but some of you might have had like health scares, things that happened like where you had breast cancer and you had to have a mastectomy and you lost one breast. How does that relate then translating into your idea of sensuality and sexuality? You had cancer and you lost your hair. Like, you had a car accident and there's like a scar, there is like mobility issues. There's something about that where you're breaking free of that and you're breaking into like a new reality. You've changed your idea around beauty and sensuality, and it's so sexy. You're literally like redefining sexiness for people. Like they are opening themselves up to an idea of sensuality and sexiness that was completely closed off to them. And it's actually so liberating to them because, like, I get the sense that for many of you, you are helping people to recognize that their own self-limiting beliefs around sexuality and sensuality has actually made it harder for them to really experience the full depths of pleasure. You know, like if they're constantly feeling like this is the only thing that can be sexy, what if you're actually not attracted to that? Whatever that beauty standard is. What if that's not your jam? You like something else? You know, like by focusing on that only being the thing that you can be attracted to, you're actually limiting how much pleasure you can have. And it's like you're helping people to like toss that out. That is so freaking powerful. Okay, so now I'd like to get into some more decks, and I would like to know a little bit more about like how this energy is going to be shaping and manifesting for you in the future, because there throughout so far I've absolutely loved this reading, and throughout it's felt like this has been really tied to something more than just an idea of sexiness. It's tied to like what you're creating and your life purpose, and that is so true. When we think about life purpose, most of the time people only think about career, but it's your life purpose is every gift and talent that you came into this world with and everything that you cultivate along the journey, because you are unique. There is no one else in the world that is like you, and that is a special, special gift. Society at large might want you to feel like you're not special, and there's reasons for that, right? If they make you feel bad, then they can, you know, puppet master you. They can control you. But the universe doesn't feel that way about you. You're a divine blessing. You are a gift brought here with a particular energy signature that will unlock new doorways and pathways that will change the way that people live. And that might sound like so big and grand, like, you know, you might think, no, that's not possibly me, but it is you, and it can be you. You just have to choose it. That's where destiny comes in, right? Like you can't just wait on the couch for this stuff to happen. You have to choose it. You have to embody it. You have to live it. And it is scary. There is a risk there, you know, like, but you have to just, you know, if you want this, then you have to be willing to, you know, put yourself on the line a little bit. And it can be baby steps, right? You got the energy of lavender. You can like take your time with it. And the Four of Swords. You can just rest and meditate on this. But eventually there will be a time when you have to step into the sun energy. And you have to allow people to see you. So what can you tell pile number 2 about the sexy and sensual manifestations that they're bringing in with their energy? Okay. Let's see. So you got the Seven of Flutes. This is the Seven of Cups. There is a choice that has to be made, the edit. There are things that are being offered to you that you are going to have to reject. These are sort of like little tests from the universe, little things like, oh, here is this sexy person that wants to date you or wants to get to know you better, but they only have a couple of requirements, a couple of requests. And if you know, change and modify yourself, this can be yours. That is a trick. That is, you know, like, don't do that. Don't edit yourself to fit into another person's, you know, expectations of you. Like, cut away the red tape. Cut away anything that doesn't work for you. Then next, you received the King of Roses. So the roses in this is the Wands, King of Wands. So it says the executive producer. So you definitely have the ability to really be a strong influence on people. This is strong influencer energy, and there was a lot of this internet energy, like going out. King of Wands is an entrepreneur. It's more like sun energy, really being willing to step out and be seen. But you got to cut away the things, maybe the insecurities, maybe the things that are distractions as well. And you got the Eight of Flutes. Eight of Cups is talking about walking away from things that no longer serve you. Self-elimination. Walk away from anyone, anything that doesn't allow you to be your natural, sexy, sensual self. That doesn't see you through like all facets of you, right? Like, don't allow somebody to say to you, well, you can only be sexy in my life. You're not allowed to be raw and vulnerable or angry or empowered and passionate. These are things that will only hold you back if you allow them to. Then you got the cliffhanger, to be continued, card number 12. And I believe that this card, I might have to just check this for a second. I believe that this card is, let's see. All right. Okay. It's the Hangman. Perfect. So you have to look at things from a different perspective. You have to be willing to make that sacrifice again, because the Hanged Man is all about allowing us to shed our old skin, and it can be painful. It can require self-reflection to look at ourselves and think, how did I hold myself back, right? Like, how did I allow others to sort of like use me or take advantage of me in some way? And how did that like limit my own creative expression or my own sense of beauty, my own sensuality, right? Like, an example of this that's really common, unfortunately, is women, you know, foregoing their own pleasure and just faking it, if you know what I mean. Because they don't want to make their partner feel like they weren't satisfied. But like, that doesn't help their partner know more about them, and it doesn't help them to feel empowered. It's like that kind of example, like allowing yourself to be raw and say, you know what, it will be uncomfortable to just be honest with my partner about what I like and what I don't. But if I don't say anything, I never get to where I want to be, right? I never get to experience the kind of joy and pleasure and sensuality that I deserve. And that is the guidance from your guides. So if you're not already there, how do you step into this empowered sun energy where you can, you know, heal yourself and then help heal others and then potentially open up a revenue stream that's related to this? Is walk away from the things that don't serve you any longer. Be honest with yourself, be honest with others, even if it's painful, and be the baddie that you are. Step into your power so that everyone can see you. Start the business, create the site, do the platform, whatever it is, and you will be a success. It will be a struggle, right? It doesn't just come like that. I really wish it did. But it takes time, and you got the 5. It will take some time. Okay, so now I would like to find out, okay, when this is going to happen for you. I'm being asked to go to this deck. Okay, we'll get a couple of cards. When is this going to happen for pile number 2? All right. So first you got spring. So if you're seeing this when I release it, we are in winter. I'm in Canada, so we're in winter in Canada, and you might be just starting to see things shift and change for you. If you've already started this journey, you know, your plant, your seed, I mean, has germinated. It's starting to poke above the surface, and spring is really going to be bringing in some massive changes for you. You also received the faster than you think card. So there's like a lot of change can come from you just changing your own mindset around your own ideas around beauty or how you see yourself, right? Like the seed feels like it's already planted in your mind. Like I think that a lot of the things I'm talking about are things that you might have already thought about or contemplated or you've heard before. And the more you adopt to this and the more you nurture this seed, the more you're going to gain. The stronger the plant will be. You also got not in this lifetime. So there is a sense here that this might be the building blocks to a larger achievement. That, like everything that you're seeing here, you will have in this lifetime if you choose it. But it feels like there's more to come. Like the impact that you have right now will transcend your own lifetime. Like you're not going to see the full impact of everything that you're doing if you so choose to step into this role as the King of Roses, the King of Wands. In this life, it's like you're the trailblazer that opens the door and then other people take the torch from you and keep going and keep going and keep going, right? Like there's this real sense of Terry Fox. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Terry Fox was an athlete and an activist who ran all the way across Canada. He had cancer in his leg and he had a prosthetic, and he didn't let that slow him down at all. He ran all the way across Canada. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but his legacy is still alive. He's still inspiring people, and there are so many people that have benefited from the organization that he started and the movement that he started. So it's like that kind of energy. It's like you're starting something, but it's not going to end with you. It's going to keep going after you're gone. So let's get a little bit more information about you and your sexy and sensual energy. You just got 555, change, encouragement, support, obstacle, battle, calling, restructuring, creative work. You are going to level up. It might not feel good initially, but it will prepare you to handle the greater things in life for your highest good. This is the why you've been looking for. Push through it. There's a reward waiting at the finish line. I can't make this up. Like, Spirit is so strongly coming through in this reading for you. Like, if you don't resonate with this yet, believe me, remember this. Maybe even like save it, bookmark it, so you can come back. Because I feel like there's like guidance here that will help you as you embark on this journey, because you might just be in the pain cycle right now. The 5 energy, it's come out now. Like you've got 51, 5 here, and then 5, 5, 5. There's this strong energy of conflict. And it could be an internal conflict, it could be an external conflict, but that is what's going to breed this, like, this epiphany, this empowerment. It's like all of the struggle is what's making you stronger. And I get the sense that you've lost a lot. Like, a lot of you have lost a lot. And I know that that's so painful. I can relate. I mean, I know I don't always talk about my own life, but like anyone who is meant to step into a role as a healer has to go through the loss and the pain that they are going to help others with. You have to be able to relate to what you're talking about so that you can really give people wise advice. And that's what you're doing. So, you know, I've experienced a lot of pain. And now when I look at those experiences, or I'm in a cycle of pain, I try and encourage myself by saying, what are you learning from this? Where is this guiding you towards? Where is the mastery that you're going to gain from this? And it can be hard. That's that moment where you step back and you look at things from a higher perspective, like the Hanged Man, and you think, oh, this person is treating me terribly and they don't value me. Well, what is that teaching me? It's teaching me to have boundaries and to dismiss anyone who wouldn't see my light. Because they're not going to be able to help propel me to that highest vibratory level, that highest vibrational destined path that I want to be on. They're going to hold me back. And so I'm going to release them with love. I'm going to release them, or I'm going to release their self-limiting beliefs or my own. Like, the change is going to come for you. But you have to go through the battle first, and then the rewards come after. Wow, that is so powerful. So next, I'd like to reveal to you, once you go through this transformation and you're in this empowered state, how are all the other people going to be viewing your sexy and sensual energy? This could be new people that just discover you. This could be people from the past. So let's see. Okay, I think that's enough. Let me get the one that's on the floor. You got reminiscing. I miss our inside jokes. There's definitely people from the past that are going to remember you. And this doesn't feel like negative at all. Like, even though it says I miss our inside jokes, I feel like these are people that you maybe just lost contact with. Like, your star will rise and you'll be guided in a new direction. And these are people that are going to be cheering you on, even though you don't know that they're there. Like, they see your beauty. There might also be, because there's an older couple on this card. Like, this might be people who are also on a similar path, you know? Like, they're finding humor maybe in some of the things that were painful for them in the past. Disagreements. I wish you understood how I feel. Wow. Okay. So this feels to me like people that have not necessarily completely identified where their triggers are and why they're there and how they do a disservice to them. It's kind of this energy of like haters, but it feels to me like it's someone who's in a low vibratory state. And when someone is at a low vibration and they're in a lot of pain and they're in that 5 energy, sometimes they're not able to see the fact that the other person giving them advice that seemed to be empowered and happy overcame the same struggles, right? Like, they think that people that have been in pain have to just constantly be in pain or constantly share that energy of pain. And it's like there's gonna be some people that rebel against your message because they feel like you don't get them. But they don't realize how deeply you do get them, profoundly how you get them. Because you're like them. Even though you might look different, you are them. You know, you do relate. And that's just the way it's gonna be, right? Like, this is like an example that's coming forward. Is like someone who doesn't fit the beauty standard going out there, putting together a platform, becoming a beauty and, you know, sex symbol. And then other people that have a similar body type feeling like anger towards that person. Like, yeah, you were the only one. You're the only one that can go out there and be the standard of beauty. They'll only let one of us in, and then feeling like you don't get it. You don't understand where I'm coming from, but you really do. And you're just going to have to understand that, especially if you're on the internet, like, there will be people that like will react negatively or maybe even like hurt you. Like, it happens. Like, people will write and say like the nastiest things, and it's just because they're coming from a place of pain. Like, they only see their own struggle. Unsatisfied. I wasn't happy the way things were going. Well, the sense that I get from this is that this is more of this hater energy. There's going to be people that don't like you saying the things that you're saying. Like, they didn't like Lena Dunham, you know, showing her naked body because she wasn't, you know, a certain beauty standard, or talking about the things that she talked about. Like, there's going to be people that do not like the way things are going, because I get the sense that you're bringing more inclusivity and conversation to things that they would like to just keep under wraps. They don't want anyone talking about it. Then you got unfinished business. We still have things to resolve and discuss. Ooh, This feels to me like like-minded people coming together. Like there's all these people at this table with their laptops out, with their little like binders. They're coming up with a plan. There are people that are going to magnetize to you and literally be wanting to work with you. This is where the money and business is coming in. There are people that are going to understand you and know how to monetize what you do, but not in a toxic way. It's not like they're trying to use you to just make profit. It's like, how do we do both? How do we generate income and also get the message out there? Because let's face it, like you have to be able to have some financial security to be able to continue doing this. And I mean, this isn't going to resonate for all of you, right? Like some of you are literally going to pursue a business and others of you are healing wounds and you're healing things with your partner. And both of them are just as valid. It's all about the personal journey internally. It doesn't matter how it manifests externally. But there will be those that literally come towards you to work with you on this message of yours, and there will be others that come towards you because they want to date you, they want to be close to you, they want to be your best friend, they want you to mentor them. You know, like there are those that will be pushed away and there will be those that come towards you. There's definitely strong polarizing energy here. And then you got the runner. I don't want to run anymore. These are the people that you're going to be healing. Those that are like, I hear your message and I don't want to run from myself any longer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel so much better and more empowered and I don't have to have shame is what's coming forward. That's what they want me to say. This is so powerful. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to leave the reading here. I would love to know your thoughts on this. Like, I know that this wasn't a very traditional reading when it comes to like what makes you sexy, but like I always lean into what spirit wants me to say, and my messages are unconventional, but I also know that my collective are made out of like innovators. Like you guys are going to change the world. Like there are reasons why you need to hear these messages, and it's because you're chosen. There's a bigger, there is something bigger here than just like the idea of sexiness. And I hope that you like see it. I hope that it's something that, you think about, because you have like so much potential to like just really like have such a lasting impact. So like I said, I would love to know your thoughts on the reading if you feel like sharing. And don't forget about Temu. Check out the links below. Like I said, they're amazing. I was so blown away by these incredible decks that I got. And if any of you guys are interested in working with me, I do private personal readings. You can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am sending you guys so much love, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back. So in today's reading, I am revealing to you what makes you sexy, but I am taking it a step further, and I'm going to be looking at how your sexy and sensual energy is helping you to manifest something for the future. Because of course, everything starts on the energetic. So your sexy and sensual energy is connected to creativity and birth because it's connected to the sacral chakra. So how is your unique energy opening up doorways to you that you might not even know are available to you? That's where I step in and I help you to understand that. And of course, I'm also going to be filling you in on how other people view your sexy and sensual energy. So you guys selected the feather as well as the clear quartz stone and the carved labradorite wolf. So these items I received from Temu. If you missed the intro, this is a special collaboration with Temu. Many of the decks that I'm using came from Temu as well. And you can download the app and check out the links to the items that I have by going into the description box. I've had nothing but an amazing experience, and I absolutely love everything that I received. Highly recommend. I think that the wolf is one of my absolute favorites. It's so cute, and it has this gorgeous rainbow flash. Absolutely love it. So this is actually the start of your reading, because these items are telling me a lot about you and your sexy and sensual energy. So to start off with, the clear quartz as well as the labradorite, both of these crystals connect with the crown chakra, and they connect with your sixth sense. So you probably have psychic abilities or strong intuition at the very least. You definitely are somebody who knows how to heal. You've had to heal self. There is this feeling that you're a bit of a loner. You might like to just spend time on your own, or you like being single, could be part of the message. There is this sense of like danger around you that is alluring and a little bit frightening to people. I do think you're very empowered, and I think that there is this sense of effortless cool around you. Maybe you don't see yourself that way, but others definitely do. They just feel like you know what's up, and you don't compromise self. Like, you would rather just be by yourself than be with somebody that didn't respect you, or hang out with a group of people that didn't really allow you to be authentic. And I get the sense that you just allow your intuition to guide you forward, which is something that automatically will put you on the fringes. And like, people don't get that. Like, they don't understand the rationale behind truly listening to self, trusting what your own intuition is telling you, and making decisions based on that, because they're so used to like referring to the entire community or the entire group. Like, there has to be consensus with them when they take action on anything, and you just don't seem like that. And like, to a certain degree, they find that super enticing because you seem to have a lot of confidence, but they're also a little bit frightened by that because they don't match that energy. So you might have felt like you were completely on your own. You guys feel very spiritual to me, like with the feather as well. This is a pigeon feather. Pigeons are doves, and doves are connected to love as well as the angelic realm. And feathers can be a symbol of spirit communication, and they can also be talking about seeing things from a higher perspective. And I feel like you are like this angelic energy, like you have a lot of wisdom, you really see through people's BS, and you like give a lot of insight. And although there is truth to what you're saying, I think to a certain degree it can rub people the wrong way. And there's this sort of this siren energy about you, where you might say things that, although they are very true, they are too honest for people, and they, try and push you away, or they dislike you, or they love that honesty in the beginning and then it turns them off later on. There's this feeling of like people fetishizing you or only liking you when they first get to know you, and then when you see through their BS, them feeling like they want to like cast you out or push you away. It's like you have this sense of you're healing them, but they don't understand that healing is actually painful. Like it is without a doubt. Like, healing is painful. That is just the way it goes, right? Like, it's almost like, I just keep seeing this example of somebody having a broken arm and it didn't get set properly, and the bone has fused back together, but it's not properly aligned, and them resisting the doctors re-breaking their arm so that they can fix the breakage so that it's aligned properly. It's like, and they're like, no, I'd just rather have this, warped bone, which is not a solid foundation, right? Like, you're doing that, but it has something to do with beauty and sensuality and sexiness. So let's get into these cards and find out a little bit more about this energy that you bring to the table. So this card here, this pink one, when I pulled this card, I was specifically asking that I be given a card that gives the overall energy for your sexy and sensual side. So let's see what you got. Oh my God, you got Rihanna. Yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense. So Rihanna is fully, like, she has this wolf energy. She grew into it though, right? Like, she wasn't always that way, but she definitely has this ability to say exactly what she needs to put somebody in their place. She really owns her sensuality. She does not allow, you know, interviewers or paparazzi to like trigger her or make her look stupid or foolish. And she does not go for people trying to put her in a box. She owns her sensuality and her sexiness, and she will use that as part of her toolkit. But she's not going to allow someone else to control that image or that narrative. Like, she doesn't, she's, the sense that I get is she's in on the joke, right? Like, she doesn't allow herself to be manipulated and used as a prop. If she's sexy and sensual, she's participating in it. She's calling the shots. She is the captain, or she's the artist creating this scene, which I absolutely love. She is just so strong, and she does have this strong siren energy, right? A siren is a mythological creature connected to the idea of mermaids, where in Greek mythology, they would have this beautiful song and they would lure sailors to their death. But, you know, it's all a matter of perspective, right? Because, like I said, the siren is also connected to the mermaid, and mermaids have mythology surrounding them that rescue worthy sailors and bring them to shore. So it's really all about the energy of the other person. You know, there's a level of projection. So some people see you as a villain, and some people see you as a healer. And that is the same with the wolf. Some people see wolves as being negative and evil, and they come in and they eat people's livestock. Whereas, you know, their true function in nature is to be a top predator, making sure that populations don't get out of control, and you know, culling the sick and weak from the pack so that other species are stronger, right? Survival of the fittest. It works on a multitude of levels. That's your energy, which is freaking powerful. So let's get into the rest of these cards and find out a little bit more about you. There's this sultriness that you have. There's, like, when I look at this card of Rihanna, like, and she just has that natural look on her face, like the way that her makeup is done, and but it's also her energy and the way she holds her face. Like, she has that like beautiful siren like gaze where everything just feels sexy and sensual. It's partially her like cat like elongated eyes, but she also plays that up. You might have that too. You might have had people like feel like they're just getting lost in your eyes, or they're drawn into your eyes. You might have an incredible voice too. You might really be able to sing. You might have strong fashion skills, right? Like, woo, that girl, such a like iconic style. Iconic. Like, celebrities all have stylists, but like you can tell when a celebrity has personal style and they're working with a top stylist who helps to like level them up, right? It's like they have a team that's helping them to achieve something. And then somebody who's just like blindly listening to a stylist, she is in on it. She is constantly part of cultivating the image, and you're doing that as well. Okay, powerful. So you cut the 3 of Rings. So 3 of Pentacles, that's so wild that I just talked about working with other people on cultivating your sexuality and your sensuality and your image, because the 3 of Pentacles is all about working with other people, working and cultivating something greater with other people. And dogs are a symbol of loyalty and partnership. It's like you might have other people that you hang out with that have the same kind of energy. Are artists, musicians, they're creatives, life path 3 kind of energy coming forward. And you all sort of feed off of each other, because there's the myth of the lone wolf, right? Wolves are not loners. They're pack animals. They all work together, and there is no such thing as the alpha. That's a myth. In true wolf packs, each one takes the leadership position at a different time. You know, they each have different skill sets, and they will step into that leadership role at a different time. So maybe you're part of a group of people that are really I just heard sexually empowered, sexually liberated, empowered. You've stepped into this role and you are doing things that maybe others don't get, but it's very like inspiring to a larger group. Wow, that's so cool. You got carried wind, potential, card number 9. Yeah, you are definitely connected with magic. You are definitely connected to creative expression. Like Caradwin had this magic cauldron that she could create anything from. Like, you are definitely an artist in some capacity. And that could mean that you're just an artist in your garden. You're an artist in the kitchen. You could be just, you're at a master level in some area of your life that's directly connected to creativity and expression. You have some of you haven't fully stepped into this yet. Some of you just have like the potential, right? Because all of this is about your destiny. And I'm trying to like make sure that people understand, and this keeps coming up in reading after reading after reading, that there is a difference between fate and destiny. Fate are the situations and the events that will take place in your life that you have no control over. They're going to unfold no matter what. You could literally be in your house on your couch, and if it's a fated event, it's going to happen no matter what. The event will find you. Wherever you go, you can't hide. But then there is the destined events, and that is your highest vibrational path. And it's only yours if you choose it. You will get extra help. You are the chosen one for that path. That is meant for you, but you have to participate. You have to cultivate it. So you have the potential of being this trailblazing, sexually and sensually liberated powerhouse where you are known for your creativity and your sensuality, and you're part of a larger group of people that are changing the way that people talk about this self-expression and sexiness. But you have to do it. Like, you have to step out and start expressing that, so then you can start meeting the other people that are on the same wavelength as you. And the only way to do that is to start healing some of your own wounds around sexiness. Next, you got teaching. That's so wild. You inspire young people to learn. Yeah, you're teaching people about how you did it. Like, so maybe you're a makeup artist and you're going to start teaching your own classes. You're a hairstylist. You teach classes. You are an influencer and you're online and you're just talking about ideas, right? Like, there's so many different ways that you could be teaching all about being sexy and sensual and creatively free. And she's holding up a book that has a butterfly. This is a transformation that you're going to go through. And when I say teaching, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are literally teaching a class. You owning your own creative expression and your sexiness and how you show up in the world is teaching people, because you're teaching by example. Next, you receive the botanist parenthood legacy. You might be teaching this to your own children. You are being authentic and uncompromising and allowing your own children or your relations, could be like nieces, nephews, what it means to stand apart, what it means to be different and not have to be like everyone else. Being a role model to people that they lack in other areas of their life. And like I was saying before, like you might be really good with plants. You might have a creative, beautiful garden, and you're expressing yourself in a new way when it comes to nature. Maybe you have, like, there's a lot that's coming out with this botanist card, because it could mean that you are creating and cultivating something that will last the test of time. You are saving something that others will learn from in the future. There's also this sense of potentially some of you really being connected with nature, like that's part of your sexiness and your creative expression. Maybe you're a little bit granola and you like all natural fibers and you're really connected to, accountability when it comes to the kind of makeup you use, the clothes that you wear. It's not just about the materials, it's like the entire chain of how it got to you. Like you're thinking about these things, and your passion around that is super sexy to people. And maybe you're creating a whole idea around sexiness that is linked with things like being accountable to like the planet, right? Like it's not, it feels different. Like this feels like creating sexiness in a realm where there hasn't necessarily been a sex symbol before. I don't know. Like, or, yeah, like it strongly feels like for some of you, you're like very linked with like the earth and nature, and this sense of being granola is what's coming forward. And presenting that in a very sexy and sensual way, and that drawing people in. Like, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know, like I'd love to know if this is resonating for you. There's just a strong sense of like hippie, granola, and sexy, sensual, and maybe witches, right? Because Cara Dwynn is a witch. So maybe there's like, I don't know, maybe that's your whole like persona has something around that. Like, I guess kind of like Stevie Nicks in a way, but there also feels like there is like accountability to like nature and how our decisions about sexiness has something to do with healing the planet. Like, I don't know, maybe some of you are like coming up with like a sexy lubricant that is natural, or I don't know, like I don't know why that's coming out, but it's obviously related to someone. Let's move on to the next message. You got chain of events that will affect your life, and there's the world behind it. Yeah, you're doing something that's literally changing the world. Some of you, it's like being open and like optimistic and honest about who you are, and you share that authenticity with your children, and then they have children and they share it with them, and it's like you're breaking generational curses and maybe taboos around beauty and sex and sensuality, and that's like carrying on generation to generation to generation. But it also feels like it has something to do with healing the planet, which I was not expecting with this part of the reading. There's a sense of like healing the planet and seeing how our decisions around beauty and sensuality has done the planet a disservice. Definitely feels like it has something to do with consumption, fashion, and beauty, and that you're going to change the whole narrative around that. And obviously, that's not a message for everyone, but we can all lean into that. Like, I think there's, like, I'd love to see how this manifests for you. Okay, next, you got Warrior of Air. Interesting. So the Knight of Swords. So you are talking about your ideas. You're taking action. You are like sharing this. And there is a lion on this card as well as an alligator. The lion connected to Leo, leadership, being in the spotlight. And then the alligator being connected to, for me anyways, it's connected to the ego and the like reptilian brain and like the past. And it's like you've been looking at the past and you've thought about where that brought us to, you know, what we cultivated in the past and how does it fit into what we would like the future to be. This definitely feels a lot like it has a lot to do with like the expression of sexiness and the creation of product, because of course Rihanna has her makeup line too, and she also, I think that she has a clothing line. I'm not entirely sure. I know that she has her makeup line, but it definitely feels like it has something to do with teaching people about beauty and self-expression and creativity and being authentic, and that you just do it so effortlessly. You do it so beautifully, and like you just shine. Like I get the sense that you are sexy even if you're wearing like old clothing is the sense I'm getting. It's like maybe it has something to do with reinventing and upcycling and beauty and fashion connected with that. And more about self-expression and making something out of nothing. That's strongly what's coming forward. You got escape, and then there is Mars and Pisces, the number 12 on this card. And there is a coin as well as a chariot. Yeah, and Buddha. So there is a sense of spirituality, some sort of like awareness, this sense of like letting go of the sense of lack. Maybe this has something also to do with the fact that like the beauty industry and everything related to sexiness and sensuality is trying to sell something to us. And it has something to do with men and the male gaze. And, you know, Buddha gave up everything. Was from a family that was of means, like had a lot of wealth, gave all of that up, and then just wandered and even gave up food, didn't even eat food, and came to a place of enlightenment when he had nothing. And you might be going through that. You might have to lose some things. You might lose your sense of self related back to like male ideals or feeling like you have to fight for things. And then there is this intuitive guidance that comes through to you, this deeper understanding. Like it's the 12th house. There's a mystery behind this, and there's something about like you shedding things, letting go of things to be reborn, and then you come out like a bolt of lightning. Like when this transformation takes place for you, it's like go time. Like you are going to be in this chariot energy, just balanced, harmonious, moving towards your deepest desires. You got the World. Yeah. Which is like very much connected to this energy I get of the 12th house, because 12th house then moves into the first house, right? That's the last house. And like it's this energy of completing cycles, the World, like everything is coming together for you. It's like when you finally let go of everything, that you gain everything. That's the sense that I get. Like being willing to go it on your own and be completely outside of the norm is what gives you everything. There's strongly this sense that you could potentially be a massive success. Like this reading wasn't supposed to have anything to do with like, you know, fame or success, but like in all three piles, the messages kept coming back to a divine purpose, a life purpose. And I didn't recognize it until I started to read the cards that of course that would come forward, because we're talking about your sexiness, which is connected to your sacral chakra and everything that you're creating and birthing and everything that you are that makes up your sexiness and your sensuality is connected to your divine purpose. So this is linked. Once you connect with that deeper, creative, sensual side of self and you're authentic about it and you lean into the things that you're passionate about, that is partially unseen to you, partially you don't even understand it, and partially others don't understand you. Once you lean into that and you're like, I don't care if everyone understands me, that's when the breakthrough happens. And you got decrease 4 cycle. Yeah, for you, the link to your sexiness and your sensuality is a rawness, an authenticity, and a willingness to let go of the bells and whistles, the trappings of sexiness. To just be like completely raw and natural. Like, I don't know, like maybe some of you are like I'm just gonna do what makes me feel sexy. And maybe that's like literally your entire body is covered in tattoos, or you know, allow your body hair to grow and you don't like shame yourself for that, or you allow yourself to just wear all of the clothing that feels natural to you. Maybe it's something that's really cutting edge and really new and different. Maybe it's something that's very traditional, but it has something to do with you doing more with less. Either letting go of needing things that are really expensive to feel sexy, or not having a lot and making something out of that. You know, like upcycling and making things unique and your own. And that's what the power of your sexual energy is. That's what draws people to you. Like, and they will be drawn to you. If they aren't already, they will. But the thing that's coming forward that's being directly channeled to me that you really need to be mindful of and careful of is that some people will want you to heal them. They will come to you because they want to see themselves through your eyes, and you can't heal them unless they're willing to go through the same journey as you, because you've had to face some darkness inside you, like 100% with the 12th house. You've had to look at stuff that you didn't want to, that you didn't even know was there, that was holding you back from having a solid foundation. That's what liberates you. This is so freaking powerful. So let's find out a little bit more about what it is that you are manifesting for the future, that, you know, this energy is bringing towards you. What is pile number 3 manifesting or creating for the future with their sexy and sensual energy? Okay, let's see. Wow, that's a lot of cards. Okay, so first you got the 3 of Roses, which I believe is the 3 of Wands. So it says next destination. So there is definitely some travel, some sort of shift or change, maybe a change in location. This could be a change in mindset, but you are definitely opening yourself up to new opportunities, exposure to a larger audience. This might be like a situation where, I mean, Rihanna had to, you know, she diversified and opened herself up. And she also brought her culture to people that had never been exposed to, I believe that her family is from Bahamas. So people who had never been exposed to Bahamian culture, you know, like there is something about you being exposed to other people and their culture, and then you bringing some of where you're from. And there being this beautiful dance, this beautiful balance. It feels to me like it has something to do with these other people, these other lone wolves. Like you're all contributing to a deeper understanding. And like I said, there's might actually be real travel involved. You have to relocate. There's new opportunities that will be opened up to you. And you got the Knight of Flutes, which is the Knight of Cups. It says the hopeless romantic, and there's an air balloon. So more travel. And then the World and the Escape card. If you are living in some small town somewhere and you feel completely isolated and stifled and you can't be extreme is what almost came out. Okay, so yeah, you want to like live out loud and be authentic. Do it. You're going to have to leave. I had to leave. I had to leave my hometown. I couldn't stay there. Like, I just couldn't. It was too much pressure to conform and live a certain way. And I just wasn't like them. I'm still not like them. You know, like, so you might feel like that too. And you might have big dreams. There's this like around the world kind of energy, this like long journey, this hopeless romantic. You have these visions of what the future could be, and maybe you're an innovator and they don't get it, right? You got the Queen of Flutes as well, the Queen of Cups, the caregiver. Yeah, you're very nurturing, you're very intuitive, you're very psychic, and you bring that to the table. You are able to help others see, I think, their potential. You help them to feel confident also with less. That is strongly the sense that like, if you can do it, anyone can do it. And you're handing people love. Like, look at this. The caregiver, the hands holding the heart, and then the decrease card, pouring the water. Like this is very similar energy. You are pouring love into others. You're helping them to feel like even if they have less, they actually have more. Like the sense is like, even if you don't have a lot of like money, you don't have a lot of like opportunities that are, you know, necessarily like right in your face, you can do it. You can open those doors for yourself. And anything that you're losing is maybe just dead weight that you have to lose, right? There's a sense of like leaving things behind. Leave that stuff behind so you can move towards something better. Then you got Queen of Roses, which is the Queen of Wands, and it says the Beauty Queen, Miss USA, second place. Interesting. So you might have felt like you were a loser, like you were like always second best, you never lived up to other people's expectations, but you are the future. That's why they didn't pick you or select you, or you didn't rise to the top yet, because your day is coming. You are part of the future is what's coming forward. Wow, that is so powerful. And maybe it's that you have to crown yourself first, you know, like you have to crown yourself. And that's when all of the external validation will come forward is what I'm getting. You got the moon. You got the moon card. There is a lot going on beneath the surface. There is a lot of intuitive, psychic energy here. Like you have to listen to your intuition. It is the only way that you will be able to step into your full power and strength. Of course, it's your choice, but you got the producer, which is the magician, and the magician utilizes all of their tools, their thoughts, their words, their actions to create something in the physical world, right? Like everything happens on the energetic first. You think about an idea, you start planning for that idea. You plant those seeds, you connect with certain people, and you water the garden, you water the garden, you water the garden. You are the botanist. You're watering the garden, and that's when it fully blooms. And I think it'll take people by surprise. I think there are some people that think that you're a lost cause or you're never going to like conform is the sense I get. Like you might be a person that like, you know, you don't get married by a certain age and then they think everyone that you know thinks, oh, they're gonna just be alone forever or something, like, you know, and that's not the case at all. You can have anything you want. Like, there is, I don't know, there's also this sense of like either being a late bloomer or, you know, being against the beauty norms. Like maybe you were a tomboy and then, you know, like then all of a sudden the taste changed, and then being a tomboy became the it thing, and then you just sort of stepped into being a sex symbol is kind of the sense that I get. But you actually manifested it right from the beginning by being uncompromising and completely accepting yourself. Oh my God, the botanist also has this pose of the hands holding the flower. You've got 3 cards that all have this same pose. It has something to do with, and I'm hearing a mudra. So that's like a hand posture that is part of Hindu faith, but this is what I'm getting. This is the hand posture. I don't know a lot about mudras. There's a lot of them, but maybe somebody can fill us in the comments. But what I'm getting is that it's like you have to hand that to others. Like you're handing them your wisdom, your growth, your love is what's coming forward. And that's when, you know, all of this true, like sexy, sensual energy manifests some growth for you in the future. This is so powerful. Okay, let's find out a little bit more about like what this is going to manifest for you, because I'm seeing that it's going to allow you to travel. It's going to help you to up level, to see things from a higher perspective, to step into being some sort of sex symbol, that you're going to manifest it yourself and you're going to be revealing secrets and truth. But what does that actually mean? Like, how is pile number 3 going to step into this role? What is this leading to? 1313, starting fresh, encouragement, goals, foundation, creative ventures, communication. Step out of your comfort zone. You are about to create something meaningful. All your skills and talents will bring you auspicious profits. Build up your confidence and trust in your decisions. This card freaking came out before. That is freaking wild that this came out. So you might have been coming from another pile, but you're starting something brand new that no one has ever seen before. You are being guided by the universe, and you are going to be given divine gifts that will help you on this. But you have to bring the confidence. You have to trust that you're going in the right direction. This is freaking wild. I'm going to get another card. 0404, slow down, balance, power struggle, force, violence, hope, authority, ancestors, restlessness, low vibrations, warning. Pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and your physical health. Don't freak out. It's just a warning to be careful and awake to be careful and awake to avoid any further issues. Communicate clearly and keep healthy boundaries. Don't think that you have to stop being the lone wolf. Be slow, be diligent, but be patient as things manifest for you. But know that you're going to have a fresh start. This definitely feels like a journey where you're on your own. You're creatively expressing, and maybe like no one else gets you. And maybe you have certain like ideas about sexiness or what turns you on that other people just don't seem to get, or they're not leaning into, or they're not open to it. That's okay. Don't feel like you have to hide that stuff. You have to be using that in a creative way. Like it feels to me like maybe, okay, for example, if I think back to like the 80s and the 90s, there were a lot of artists that started to use themes of like domination and like BDSM and like certain things that were part of like counterculture for like sexual liberation and freedom. And artists like Madonna, for example, were bringing that onto the stage, and she was, you know, doing her sex book and like all this stuff that was going on. And you might be doing something like that. Not that specifically. What I'm saying is that it's something that is maybe taboo or something that's counterculture, and you're bringing that into the public awareness, and you're utilizing that to create some sort of self-expression that is the key to you being seen as super sexy, and it's part of your identity is what's coming forward. But you have to be patient as you slowly, you know, step into this power. And this authority is what's coming forward, which is so powerful. So when is this going to happen for pile number 3? We got a couple of cards. When is this going to happen for pile number 3? This doorway is going to open to them. Okay, let's see. So the first card you got is take a break. You might already be working on this. You just need to chill out. You know, like you might have this fire inside you where you're like, no, I got to do it, and I got to all do it now because I'm on my own. I relate. I definitely relate. But you actually will slow down your manifestation because everything is in divine timing. So if you don't have the epiphanies, or you're not rested, you're not at the right vibration, the door can't open to you because you have to be a vibrational match. And even if you are ready, if everyone else involved in this manifestation isn't there, right? Like your audience isn't ready, it doesn't matter whether you're ready. The door won't open until everyone involved is at the point where they're, you know, the next step can be taken. So right now isn't the time. So just take a break and be patient with yourself and enjoy the journey is what's coming forward. And you got just around the corner. So maybe you're stressing about something happening for you and it's right around the corner. Now, my eye keeps being drawn to the fact that on the wall behind this guy who's having his coffee, it says Northeast. So that's weird to me because aren't those the names of Kim Kardashian's kids? Northeast. I don't know, maybe not east, north definitely. But maybe there's some other connection that you have with Northeast as well. Maybe a location, or maybe you're going north, or maybe you're supposed to travel east because there's a lot of travel energy here. Oh my God, and you got in a few days. So you're the only pile that's literally been, it's like, it's happening and it's happening now. You just have to like lean into it and trust the process. So, wow. Okay. So honestly, like for some of you, it might take a little bit more time because it's in divine timing, taking that break. But for many of you, this like shift or change or breakthrough or an idea or something connected to your sexiness and your creativity and your liberation is right around the corner. You just have to be patient and allow it to happen. Okay, so now I'd like to know, how are others going to view you once this transformation takes place? You step into this energy. What's going to happen with those around you? I definitely feel like some of you have fame or massive success, like literally on the table for you, because my eye just got drawn to this lion. But you have to diligently work towards it because my eye is also being drawn to the ox. So I'm thinking about Taurus and Leo. Okay, so first card that came out is missed opportunity. I didn't act when I should have. Yeah, there are people that possibly were really interested in you. There's like this sense of like an 80s or a 90s like teen film, you know, like the nerdy girl who's actually amazing and the guy doesn't like give her the time of day until, you know, she has a makeover or something. Like there's this sense of like people not recognizing how awesome you are and how beautiful and sexy and sensual and creative and free-spirited you are until it's too late and then they regret it. But that's part of their karma, right? Like everyone is on a different journey and they're meant to not recognize you in that moment, so then they can have an epiphany later on. Dishonesty. By lying, I ripped us apart. So there might have been some people that were really terrible to you. There might also be some people that feel like you aren't being honest, right? These are going to be people that are haters no matter what. They're going to feel like maybe you were dishonest with them about who you really were, but that was just because you hadn't fully transformed yet. That wasn't dishonesty. Maybe you just were at a place where you didn't feel comfortable revealing that to the world, and then you did finally get to that point. But there might have also been some people that were cheating and lying, and they literally ruined the connection with you. You also got shadow side. You made me realize my flaws. You were definitely waking people up. This is shadow worker energy. You're walking people through the darkness, helping them to realize where they are definitely going the wrong way. But that doesn't always mean that you're teaching people by literally telling them what they're doing wrong. You might be the part of a karmic connection. You have to be in a terrible relationship with someone who's unawakened so that they can hurt you and be dishonest and then, walk away from you, only for you to become this massive success or be completely free and liberated and creatively expressive, and you're like living your best life. And that's when they realize, shoot, I should have listened to them. Look at how happy and successful they are. Understanding. I see your side of the story. Yes. People are definitely going to regret how they treated you. They're definitely going to regret not taking the time to understand what you were saying. Neglected. I failed to give you what you need. This is like message after message. There are going to be a lot of people that regret what happened between the two of you. And that's not to make you feel bad. You don't owe these people anything. And that's not in a hateful way. It's like there will be other beautiful opportunities available to them. Now that they're like, when they get to this stage, their eyes will be opened, and then the universe will guide them to their beautiful abundance as well. So that concludes your reading, my friend. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts on this. This has been so powerful, so unexpected. Not at all what I thought the reading would be like. But I am so thrilled that I got to deliver these messages to you. So if you would like to share your experience or your thoughts in the comments, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. I would love to see you in the next reading. I'm so inspired by your energy. And don't forget about Temu if you want to check them out. All the links are below. And I also do private personal readings. So if any of you guys would like to work with me, you can go to my website, odessamal.com. All of my services and booking information are available there. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I send you so much love, and I look forward to reading for you again in the future. Take care.